Hi everyone, welcome to Niftyprofits YouTube channel. Thank you very much for your patronage. Now, today we are starting an exciting series in Niftyprofits channel, giving some insight and education into value investing. I also very keen to learn value investing, how this is done. If you have seen our videos in the past few weeks, most of the videos that I have shared are all on technicals. But there is something bigger than technicals, which worldwide great investors follow, which is value investing. What is value investing? Value investing means looking at the hard facts about the company, what it is doing, how the company is performing, what is its track record. All those things are looked at, and then an investment is made. The greatest investors of all time, who is currently living, the legend Warren Buffett, is a value investor. So can we also become a Warren Buffett? Can we also become a value investor? Can we get the benefit of value investing? How to go about it? We are going to start from the scratch. And from whom are we going to learn? I have a guest, CA Vishwanath Pichumoney. He's a chartered accountant for more than 30 years. He has been working in senior positions, heading the finance and accounts departments and treasury management for more than 20 years in his career. And he is a keen follower of value investing. He has his own portfolio, which he manages effectively. So on a casual chat, I asked him if he can share the experience and wisdom that he has gained over the years in value investing for the benefit of our channel members. I am excited, and I'm sure there is going to be a lot of value in the time that you are investing in listening to Vishwanath Pichumoney. I once again want to tell you that this is not going to be a one-off video. It is going to be a series of videos which I'm going to have with Vishwanath, and he is going to share all these insights and that small value nuggets which we can use to become great value investors. Now, over to you, Vishwanath. Thank you very much for being part of this channel.
Thank you, Ramanujan Satyamurthy. Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to one and all. First of all, I would like to express my thanks to CA Ramanujan Satyamurthy, who runs the very popular Niftyprofits channel, to give me the opportunity to share some insights on the subject of value investing. As he has already mentioned in his very incisive introduction, value investing is basically learning how to build the building blocks in your investment journey. In his channel, so far, he has focused on the technical, but if we want to be a better investor, we should know the fundamentals of investment. What is the mindset required? What sort of information, what sort of knowledge we require to become better investors? And this whole journey, this whole process is called value investing. I would now like to share my screen and start the presentation. Well, before I start, as you see, my name is Vishwanath Pichumoney, and as everybody has said, I have money on my name, money in my name. So it's it was very easy for me to get into the field of finance. And people will say it should be very easy for me. It should be a cakewalk to manage my money.
Vishwanath, can you please ensure that the audio is recorded?
Yeah, I've done that. Okay. So as Satyamurthy said, In this series of videos, which we are calling value investing, we are trying to educate the investor as to what is the process to be followed in order that we can become a better investor. We can appreciate fundamental analysis better. We can do technical analysis better. This whole process is called value investing. But first things first, why to invest? That is the subject of my presentation of today.
Can you move to presentation mode, please?
I'm already on the presentation mode.
It's on the TV type button, which is there on the.
Sure. Sorry, my apologies. So before we go to investment, let us first ask a basic question. Why do we need to invest? Why do we need to save? All of us human beings, we all during our lifetime, we have various financial goals to achieve. The financial goal could be as simple as saving money for our education, saving money for our marriage. Then when we become a householder, saving money for a house, saving money for a car. And then when our children become grown up, saving money for their education, saving money for their marriage. And finally, when we decide to call it a day, we need to have money to enjoy a retired life. So we need to save even for retirement. So at each stage in our life, we always have some financial goals running along with us. And to achieve these financial goals, we need to save money. So savings is very important. And how important it is? Well, Satyamurthy mentioned the name of the legendary investor Warren Buffett. And Warren Buffett says, you should first set aside money for savings and then only spend. It's very easy to say, isn't it? What's our mindset? Our mindset is spend and then save. And if you look around the world today, the youngsters, it's a consumerist economy. Everybody is just spending money like there's no tomorrow. So where will saving happen? So it's very important that we need to change the mindset. We need to save money and then only spend. Only then will saving happen, and only then the rest will follow. Well, somebody might ask me, okay, I have made savings. So is it good enough for me to reach my financial goals? My answer is no. You have saved money. Then what? Unless and until you invest your money, you let your money grow, the money will not enable you to achieve your financial goals. So whatever saving you have, you should learn to invest it wisely. And friends, there is one hidden secret which is lying in investing, and that is the power of compounding. I think most of you must have heard about it. We'll discuss about it in the subsequent slide. Well, none other than the legendary inventor Albert Einstein has said that the most powerful force in the universe is compound interest. Can you believe it? I read somewhere that he has equated compound interest to be the ninth wonder of the world. We all know seventh wonder of the world is Taj Mahal. So ninth wonder of the world as per Einstein is compound interest. And what is compound interest in layman terms? We all know what is interest. We put money into investment, we earn some interest on it. But compounding happens when you earn interest on the interest plus the principal. So there is a principal on which you already earned an interest. That interest is added to the principal, and on that pool, you earn further interest, and that is called compound interest. So if you want to enjoy the power of compounding, you need to first invest. So investment is very important. Just to put things in perspective, how different is compounding to simple interest? We all heard about compounding. But how impactful is compound interest can be seen in this slide. Now, if you put a money, let's say for argument's sake, you are putting your money into an investment which gives you a 10% interest. If that interest is calculated in a simple manner, a 1,000 rupee principal over a period of 25 years at an interest of 10% simple, calculated simple, will only yield 3,500. Whereas the same 1,000 rupees, if it is invested at 10% interest and the interest is compounded, whether it's quarterly, whether it is semi-annually or annually, after 25 years, can you believe it? It will yield an amount of 10,835. We are talking about 3 times. So if you put your money in an investment which has the power of compounding, even in a very simple investment vehicle, you are going to enjoy the benefit of 3 times the return which you have made if the investment was done on a simple interest basis. This is the power of compounding which we are talking about. Now we have spoken about savings, why we need to save, what should we do with the savings? Obviously, we need to invest. Why we need to invest? Because it unlocks the power of compounding. Now the question comes, where do we invest? That's a very important question. Now all of us, the common man, if you ask him, where do you invest? The typical answer will be, I will invest in a bank fixed deposit. I will invest in a post office fixed deposit. Or I might invest in a real estate. I'll buy a land. I'll buy a flat. Or if he's under the influence of his spouse, he will put money in gold and silver. The other day I was in the post office and I saw a huge crowd of people who were thronging the post office to put their money in post office schemes and all that. So the general mindset of the common man is to invest primarily in fixed deposits and post office schemes. Now let's assume we go with this story and invest our money in fixed deposits or post office schemes. So what happens? Now, have you ever heard of that animal called inflation? Yes, I'm sure you must have heard about it. Every day in the papers, every 6 months, RBI comes out with a report. The food inflation has gone up, so and so, so and so. So it's a real issue in our life. Inflation, the cost of food, the cost of items, other items are all going up. The fuel prices are going up, which is mainly fueling the inflation. So you cannot ignore this animal called inflation. Now, what does it do to your return? It eats into your return. So if you typically put your money in a bank FD or a post office FD, or even if you put it in real estate and get some return, the impact of inflation is such that it will reduce the return which you earn substantially. This is a factor which is very important when you consider investing in bank fixed deposits or post office deposits to achieve your financial goals. The inflation will make sure that you will take more time to achieve your financial goals. But there is another avenue open to all of us where we can ensure that we can achieve our investment goals in a timely manner. And what is that avenue? Well, friends, it is none other than investing in the stock market. Well, how impactful can be an investment in the share market? Well, this example will give you an idea. Suppose you have a girl child who has just been born, and you have a dream that when she turns 18 and she is ready for higher education, you should have money saved to cover the expenses. This is one of your financial goals. And to start off with, you have a kitty of 2 lakhs of rupees. And you estimate that when my daughter turns 18, for her higher education, I will require 10 lakhs of rupees. Well, this is an assumption we are making. So you have 2 lakhs of rupees. You need to reach over a period of 18 years, 10 lakhs of rupees. And you have to figure out what is the best investment option available to you. We all talked about FDs. We all talked about real estate. Let's add investment or in stocks into this mix. Now this graph, wherein the x-axis is basically representing the avenues of investment open to us, which is bank FDs, property or real estate, and stocks. And the y-axis talks about the number of years it will take to achieve 10 lakhs of rupees. The number of years it will take for investment of 2 lakhs to grow to 10 lakhs of rupees. And what does this graph show?
That is inflation adjusted return, right?
Exactly.
The percentages given here are inflation adjusted.
Exactly.
3%,
You're
3%, and 10%.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
Okay.
Here, what I'm assuming is assuming a 5% inflation, and stock gives me a return of 15%. So that means after inflation, stock gives me a return of 10%. Similarly, if property giving me a return of 10%, I am assuming inflation of 5%. So the real return which property is giving me is 5%. Similarly, bank FD, if the actual return is 8%, the real return after adjusting inflation of 5% is 3%. So have I made it clear, Satyamurthy, about what I'm talking about here?
Yeah. Clear,
Okay.
clear. I was having a doubt why bank FD is given as 3%. And maybe similar doubt may be there for the viewers also. So
yeah, I think it's a very
somebody will come and say that I am earning 5.5% in the bank FD. Boss, you are still standing where you are at 5% also, because the inflation is 5%. So your FD is standing where it is basically. So your spending capacity is restricted even at 5.5% return on bank FD. Yeah.
You're right. So if you see here, investment in stocks is the only avenue which is very, very credible and viable to achieve our goal of achieving 10 lakhs of rupees when our daughters turn 18 years. Because if you see, 2 lakhs investment in stocks today, giving a return of 10%, which is highly credible if you look at the growth which our Sensex has done over the past 20 years or 30 years, will help us to achieve this target of 10 lakhs in 17 years. Our target was to achieve it in 18 years. So stocks gives us the opportunity to achieve this target in 17 years. This is the power of investing in stocks. So I have set the scene that how important
CA Vishwanath, can you go to the previous slide and show us how many years it will take in the fixed deposit and in property?
Yeah. So if you can see here, as I said, stocks will take 17 years to convert or to multiply 2 lakhs to become 10 lakhs. Whereas the same 2 lakhs will take 34 years to become 10 lakhs if you are invested in property. Now I am assuming the current scenario in real estate where no abnormal increases are foreseen. It's only a very tapered increase which is happening all over market. So this is the assumption I'm making as far as real estate.
I think it is a fair assumption, and we also must say that the rental yields also in India are not very big. Plus, we are assuming a 10% growth rate in the property prices, and inflation adjusted, it becomes only 5% really. And it also a lot of variables on properties, where you are buying it, what is the development around that area, and all that determines its a price rise. And properties usually gets repriced once in 10 years. Let's say in a 10-year cycle, they don't change, fluctuate in price every now and again, right? So I mean, I personally have an experience of having 2 freehold lands that I have, which 15 years there is virtually no movement now. The price is where I bought it, because in those areas the development as perceived has not taken place actually. So the money is stuck as it is not changed at all really.
And it's a very illiquid investment in property.
Yeah. So Bill, what you say is very right. Like you put 2 lakhs and 34 years later, maybe it is not even become 10 lakhs. That possibility is also there. And
there might be some exceptions, but this is a general norm.
Yeah. And also it's possible that somebody else has encroached on your property and those legal tangles can also come. There are a lot of
Yeah, these are other headaches which you have to deal with.
Yeah, and the simplest form may be bank FD. And so you say bank FD will take 56 years to become 10 lakhs at the inflation adjusted.
Exactly.
Oh
See,
my
the
God.
important thing is inflation adjustment, because everybody can argue that this is a very, unrealistic scenario which is being projected.
Yeah.
Because nobody is factoring in inflation. And as finance people, we need to focus on the inflation adjusted return, because then only we get a realistic idea as to what is the potential of each investment option available to us, and
No,
why
we
there is
should.
a pressing need.
Yeah. But as Niftyprofits channel people, we should also be a little bit biased towards stocks. So we have to also say that, prove that by statistics, we have to prove that stocks have a better return rate compared to bank FD, which is more passive, actually more passive, and takes a much longer time to grow your money, inflation adjusted. I agree.
And I just want to add here on the subject of compounding, which is very, very evident in investment in shares. Warren Buffett, we all know he's a billionaire multiple times over, and 80% of his wealth has come in only after he turned 55. And he himself says, he started investing when he was in his late teens. So the more time you spend in the stock market, the more is the potential for compounding. We'll talk about it in later series, but I just wanted to highlight that how important it is to stay invested over longer terms.
Excellent, CA Vishwanath. Yeah. This is an interesting slide, actually. I wanted to spend a little more time on that. That's
okay. Thank you, Satyamurthy, for those comments. Now, in this slide, what I'm going to say is, well, we have decided that yes, investment in the stocks is the right way forward. So how do we go about it? Well, there are two ways you can invest in stocks. One is the direct way and another is the indirect way. What do you mean by direct? Direct means I directly buy and sell shares in the share market. So we all have various intermediaries in the market. We need to open a brokerage account with them, and when we have a brokerage account, we have direct access to buying and selling shares. There are two stock exchanges available in India right now for domestic shares. One is the BSE, another is the Nifty. So our brokerage account gives us access to buying and selling shares in these markets. What is indirect? Suppose you don't have the knowledge of the share market, you don't have the time, but still want to invest in shares. So how do you go about it? You simply invest in mutual funds. Mutual funds basically pool money from individual investors, and they in turn will invest in share market. In the last 20 years, mutual funds have become heavily regulated, and it's a very, very credible way to invest in the share market and enjoy good returns. So we have two methods of investing. One is direct and one is indirect. We will have more details about this in subsequent presentations. So we have talked about investing in shares, which is the right way forward to enjoy better returns. But is it a cakewalk? Of course not. You must have heard the statement time and again. Mutual funds sahi hai, but then there's a small line which says all investment in mutual funds are subject to market risk. Please read offer document before investing. Haven't we seen this line again and again? So what does it say? It says that any investment, especially investment in stock market, has an inherent risk. So how do we go about minimizing this risk? The only way to minimize this risk is to develop the right mindset, have proper education on the subject, and also do our own diligent research. Only by doing this, we can minimize the risk when we go about investing in stocks. And believe me, if you follow the proper process, have the right mindset, do your research, getting a real adjusted return of 10 to 15%, I'm talking on an average, in the market today is not difficult. The process is important. And this is where value investing comes in.
I have a small point to add. If you go to the previous slide, this process of investing and diligent research and applying some amount of common sense while making the investment really can prove very, very beneficial for people. I just want to, if you permit me, I can add two anecdotes from my personal experience.
Please go ahead.
When Maruti Udyog was listed in the stock market, I think it's about 17 years back, if I'm right. I was in Muscat at that time. Maruti Udyog had been listed in 2004, if I'm right, 2004 or 2000. Around 2004, it got listed. It was quoting at 165 rupees at that time, Maruti Udyog, and it was the largest car seller even at that time. Maruti cars used to sell like hotcakes at the time because we never even had other foreign car brands in India. We just had Ambassador, probably Premier Padmini, and then we had Fiat, so to say, and then we had Maruti. Maybe Lancer had just come in, I don't know, Hindustan Motors had started. But other foreign brands were not there in India. Maruti selling at 165 rupees stock price. I was chatting with a friend. I said, I see Maruti at 2,500 rupees. I told him at the time. And I even bought. He said, Maruti, it's a public sector enterprise. It can never go up. Now I am finding where that friend is. Because Maruti, after so many years, probably they have also even done some stock splits or whatever. It touched 9,000 rupees at a point in time. Even now it is quoting around 7,200. And this is a situation when foreign brands have come into India and there is heavy competition. Still, Maruti is the leading car manufacturer in India. And imagine buying it at 165 rupees and reaping all those dividend benefits and having it grown how many times? 30, how many times? I think 60 times it has grown. 60 times.
Take 9,000, yes.
60 times it has grown. This is the potential in stock market. The other anecdote is about Bharti Airtel. You know, when it was listed, it was the first private telecom company that was operating in India. There were few competitors, but it was the only listed telecom company in India at that time. And it was listed around 32 rupees. It was available in the year 2002. It was available at 2002, just 30 rupees. And today, and that was, if I'm right, 2 rupee share. I'm not sure whether it is 2 rupee share or 5 rupee share at that time. But now, the same Bharti Airtel, after so many years of dividends and growths, it is quoting at 620 rupees. I think it's a 2 rupee share now. So which means actually on a 10 rupees terms, it is a 3,000 rupees share. So the growth is 100 times in Bharti Airtel over 18 years. So if you go to the previous example of 2 lakhs, it has actually become 2 crores, not just 10 lakhs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And another thing I want to add here, one of the right mindset is basically buy it and forget it. This is actually one of the statements made by Morgan Russell in his, who is also a legendary investor. If you want to buy good shares, you should have the patience to just buy it and forget it.
They say buy right and sit tight.
Exactly. So if somebody had bought Maruti at 160 rupees or 130 rupees and had the wisdom that this company would make good returns for him, he should have simply bought it and forget it. But many people don't do that. When they see some return, they just try to encash it. So this is where the right mindset comes in, and we'll talk about it in the subsequent presentations. So if you want to go about investing in stocks, we said we need to have the right mindset. An analogy for this would be the law of the farm. What is the law of the farm? When you sit for your breakfast, you see cereals. When you sit for your lunch, you see rice, you see pulses. Now everything comes through a process. The pulses, the rice which is comes to our table has been planted for the farmer long back. Now he has to plant the seed at the right time. He has to water the seeds. He has to nurture them. He has to make sure there are no weeds. He has to also harvest at the right time. Then only the food comes to our table after a certain time. So this is the law of the farm. So that much effort the farmer does before the food reaches on the table. So if the farmer is doing that, we need to have the same mindset as far as our investing journey is concerned. Then only we can reap really good returns. Warren Buffett also has his comment on this subject. He says, no matter how great the talent or effort, some things just take time. You can't produce a baby in 1 month by getting 9 women pregnant. Jokes apart, but I think we have driven the point home that it needs patience and hard work to make our investment count.
But if you make 9 women pregnant at the same time, you may get a backlash from your wife. Just be careful.
Yeah, that's also an important point. I think we should remind Warren Buffett about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, that brings me to the end of this presentation. I hope I have kindled your curiosity as far as investment is concerned. What exactly is value investment? How to go about it? In the subsequent presentations, I want to talk about what are the mindsets required, how do we go about looking for good companies, how do we analyze them, how do we, what are the parameters we should follow, financial, non-financial, so many other things we will touch upon in order that we can understand the fundamentals of the companies which we want to invest. And thereafter, technical analysis becomes much more easy. Thank you. I will hand over the floor to my friend Ramanujan Satyamurthy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, CA Vishwanath. It was a great and wonderful, crisp presentation that you gave on the initial episode of value investing. They say about this thing, like regarding the skirt, reveal enough to create the curiosity. I think you have created that initial platform to create that curiosity in the minds of people who are interested in getting into stocks, but they do not have the necessary knowledge and the required skills to select the stocks, how to invest. I think whatever you say will also apply to selecting mutual funds, which I think you will be covering in the later slides. Yes, a fixed deposit can give that extra amount of safety in your mind, but then that doesn't ensure safety for your life, because we are battling with inflation, and inflation keeps increasing, or inflation keeps eating away part of our savings, whether we like it or not. I think if I just put money 10 lakhs in the bank and it just allow it to passively grow, and on the other side, even inflation is also growing. So whatever we bought few years back at a particular price is not available the same price today, right? I think the only items that get cheaper are things that we buy, and after some time they become cheaper. If I buy a television for 10,000, 10 years later, the same television doesn't sell for even 500. But if you do the investment in the right way, instead of spending money in those items of luxury, you will ensure that money will grow. Definitely, you can virtually grow the money in a tree, but the tree is an invisible tree, and you have to make it visible to your eyes through value investing principles. A fabulous presentation, CA Vishwanath, and as you said, rightly said, you have Pichumoney. Money is in your name, so I'm sure you will educate our viewers enough to see that they also have money against their name if it is not in their name. Thank you very much. And we will meet again in the next week with the next episode of Value Investing by the man having money in his name, Vishwanath Pichumoney. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
One second, I'll just stop the recording. We will cut it out in the what do you call?